What do you want from me? What is up, everybody? Welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. Welcome to PCP Movie Night. Welcome, in fact, to Horrorfest 2022. It's rolling on through, but we are still just getting started. Tonight, we talk about the 1980 Haunted House. Pretty much cult classic, but I consider it a damned classic, right? A goddamn classic here. Starring George C. Scott, the Changeling. Y'all, we got a great lineup, everybody. Thank you for being here. Throw out a station, throw out a pop, pop, boom when you come up in this room. We are all ready to go. I was going to bring Dylan in first, but he's not ready to go. Surprise, surprise. Wait. You know I'm just teasing you. This is my man, Dylan. What is up?
I thought the camera thing hit it. You know how when you do the intro, it takes you out automatically? I thought that was that. I don't remember hitting the camera button, but okay.
Well, I'm happy that you're here, Dylan. Yes.
Good to be here, bro. I love your little pumpkin in the back. I love that.
Where'd you get that? Yeah. Oh man, who knows? Like on clearance somewhere. Like at the end of the Halloween season, when everything's going sale, I start buying just random stuff.
You're smart, bro. That's what I'm gonna do, man. Especially having the new house, man. You know, I like over the years, my family and stuff. We had stuff for my grandpa because he was a pharmacist, so he worked at a drugstore. We get some stuff. You know what I'm saying? We get the good stuff first. They're cheap. But now I don't really have them. But my stuff, you know what I mean? My stuff. So I was trying to grab a couple things here and there to throw around the house. But, you know, they're expensive, man. So I'll definitely have to use that idea.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Thank you for being here, man. It doesn't feel like Horrorfest without you. And I'm very excited to have this dude on for the first time on Horrorfest in 2022, but not for the last. It's our man, Perry. What is up?
Station. How's it going, y'all?
At least he wanted to join someo's Horrorfest show.
No, I want to join yours. I completely forgot to reply.
I know.
My bad.
You're good, bro. You're good. Dude, TK, bro. Hey, you did the same thing, bro. I was like, what movie? He was like, I'm down. He's like, and I'm like, okay, what movie?
I like to be told what to do. So
I know. I don't like to tell somebody. Like, if you picked one and I was like, oh, I'm sorry, bro. Like, wait, somebody already said for that. See, I don't really plan ahead like Robbie. So he's like, I know who's on my upcoming shows. Sometimes someone might bow out last minute. But see, I just plan for me, Robbie, Vern, and Scarpad every trip. And Steph's been coming back a lot. So him too. But you know what I mean, Robbie? We usually
right now we got a 6-person crew we've been rolling with, man. So it's been deep and it's been good.
But everyone has their own thing pop up. So every now and then they bow out once in a blue moon. But dude, check the schedule if there's something you like, man. That pops out. Let me know, bro. Because I'd rather you come on something that you want.
All right, yo, let's get this show going. Nah,
bro, let's keep talking about what show you're gonna pick, Perry.
I'm just gonna say I sent Perry a list. I was like, here's the ones I got spots for, and he goes, okay.
Yeah,
and I was like, I'm gonna put you on all of them then.
I'll go on all of them too. You know,
I'll do it too.
We also got our main man Brooks in the house. What is up, Bodacious One?
What's up?
Sup? First time watching this film.
Yeah, that's why I love you, Brooks. You just keep it short and simple.
Yeah, you know it, right? He's like, we're all wasting time. All right, so 3.5 hours ago when I last saw this dude, he hadn't even watched the film yet, so I'm very surprised that he's here. But we got Mike 06 in the house. What is up, my man?
Hey, what up, Mike?
Hey,
I didn't even know
what is
you were
up?
here.
I technically still have like 10 minutes left in this movie. So
the last 10 minutes are so good.
I'm at the scene where he's meeting the senator. So, and he's just.
You're almost. Wait,
I told someone today Mike's going to show up watching the movie because you've done it.
Hey,
before.
yo,
I had a busy weekend,
before.
sir. I have not had time to watch a movie this weekend, so I am sorry. So,
dude, I was.
Yeah, but you've known about this for weeks. Is all I'm saying. But it's okay. We're not here to point fingers. Here's the thing to celebrate. We're all here. But Mike, I would encourage you to like pay attention to those last 10 minutes. Like they're important to the film. And you don't want them spoiled when we start talking about it here. So anyway, let's get into it. The Changeling, a 1980 film. It's a Canadian film. Ooh. At the time, it was nominated for like 8, 9, or 10 Canadian Film Awards. It won, I think, Best Picture. It stars George C. Scott in another riveting performance. He always does that. Peter Medak did the directing, and he's done a lot of television work. but he also is the director of the Masters of Horror episode, The Washingtonians. If anybody remembers that one, the one where the Washington people were coming after you. Remember that, Dylan?
What's the episode?
Masters of Horror season 2, The Washingtonians. The one where the dudes in the powdered wigs and the wooden teeth are coming. There's like it's kind of like a spin on a vampire-y type thing. Anyway, so I thought that was cool.
Huh.
Yeah, I thought that was neat.
I have to rewatch that one.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. Anyway, this movie to me is fantastic. Now, I hadn't seen this movie since like the early 2000s, in my early 20s. And I remember liking it and thinking it was kind of up there as like one of these really great, slow-paced, atmospheric, super creepy ghost stories, right? But as I've aged, I really appreciate it even more. And I would definitely say it's up there with films like The Haunting or The Legend of Hell House as some of the best like haunted house movies I've ever seen. This movie is really cornerstoned by George C. Scott's performance. Like, he is in pretty much every scene, right? It is, everything is on his shoulders. If he doesn't deliver, there you go. Now, Siskel and Ebert, because, I like to look at what those jackasses had to say about movies back in the 80s, and they didn't like the film. They actually thought that George C. Scott was too good of an actor for this and that he needed to be more hammy, which he's incapable of because he's so good. George C. Scott, by the way, is the kind of dude, he had some issues with maybe like alcoholism or whatnot. He had like 4 or 5 wives. His wife is in this movie. This was the 8th movie that they were in together.
That's the one he met her on, wasn't it?
Not this one, but he met her on a film that he was filming with his wife at the time. Left his wife and got with her. Anyway.
I thought that he left his wife that he was with while making the movie with whoever he met during this movie.
No, I think it's this lady was the one that he left. Anyway, we're not here for the drama,
sure.
right?
What is this gossip?
Yeah, what is this gossip from 1978?
What is this, TMZ 1970 or some shit?
But anyway, George C. Scott was like so cantankerous at times that like when he got the Oscar for Patton, he refused to accept it, which I thought was he's just a baller like that, right? So
didn't you hear why too, Robbie?
Yeah, because he thought he should have won for another movie and he didn't.
Yeah, and so he totally discredited the Academy after that. Basically, like, you guys are jackasses.
Yeah, it's fine.
Hey,
I hope Chris Rock does that too, is what I'm saying. I hope Chris Rock does that, because George C. Scott did that for less with scraps in a cave. Anyway, I really liked the film on the rewatch. Like, I appreciate it more today, especially with the themes that are being played with. I do feel like towards the end, it kind of gets a little too detective-y. You know what I'm saying? We just lost Dylan. It gets a little bit too detective-y for me at times, but it still really holds itself together. The music is phenomenal. The atmosphere, it is legitimately scary to me. Like, I think it is like legitimately scary, like very scary. Man, we got to get everybody back in the right spot.
Musical chairs.
Dylan, my man, overall, what do you think about The Changeling?
Man, I'll say, man, growing up, I never really liked this film, to be honest, and it was a little hard for me at first to kind of get into it. I love George C. Scott. It's definitely a slower paced film, so it's not like it's almost like Paranormal Activity with fucking George C. Scott, but not shot on film. You know what I mean? Like, so it's definitely a lot slower. It's more serious. It's got a great score to it. It's shot beautifully well, but it kind of reminds me too, like, the Dead Zone in a way. I don't know, it just it's a lot more serious. It's not like your average slasher or it's straight up about the haunted house in a way, and George C. Scott does all of that investigating, because his we obviously start off with the opening of his family getting, killed by that roadside accident. Yeah. So you kind of see that this guy is just tormented. You know,
you just can't get that goddamn phone booth open, man. And those were hard to open from the inside sometimes, man.
I wouldn't doubt, man. And with all that snow, it was probably slippery. He's like, couldn't get a grip on it.
And why is this thing just out there in the middle of fucking nowhere? Because that
was what I thought. That was my first thought.
That was what phone booths did sometimes, man. You would just be like, why is there a phone booth there? There was a phone booth.
Like, what the fuck?
In my neighborhood growing up, there was a phone booth in someone's fucking yard.
Really?
How random. But it was in the middle of the fucking neighborhood. It's just so random.
Yeah. That's crazy. But I definitely do appreciate it more now, especially in the mob days. Them motherfuckers are always on the payphones. But I definitely appreciate it more. It's still not one of my favorites. I really want to kind of sit down and give it another full go. Because sometimes, you know, you're just like, you got to be in the mode, man. And sometimes when we're doing reviews, you're just kind of like, you kind of have to force yourself in that mode, you know? So there's days, man, where I might have just been in the perfect mode and I'll be like, holy shit. Where you just got to be ready to sit back and really take it in. This isn't one you can just sit around fucking around.
Yeah. This is a really good, this is a really good like
slow burn.
Yeah, it's a really good like stay home from work's rainy day kind of movie. Like for real, right?
Yeah, real. It's a chiller. You know what I mean? Like they play the music at such perfect moments to where it's supposed to almost stand the hair up on the back of your neck. You know what I mean?
The music is almost the music and the camera is the ghost in this movie, and that it's so like, I love it. I have this like it's Severin Films. I'm surprised this doesn't have a better release.
They're doing a 4K.
Oh, nice.
They're doing a 4K that looks real good.
So I got the Severin release Blu-ray. This one's limited. This is the limited edition. This is like 5,000 of these because it comes with the soundtrack. But it's a really, it's a pretty solid set. It's got some nice special features.
Why would you say you think that it would have a better set?
Just because I think this movie is underappreciated from horror fans.
Yeah, I feel like it is pretty appreciated, but it is probably more appreciated now than it was.
Oh, definitely. So overall, you liked it on this one, but you do want to still have the time to really.
I want to let it grow more. You know, it's one that you can really kind of sit back and think about, and then there's ideas you can come up with. You know, it's definitely a good one. You know, because the one part like with the governor and everything. You'll have to tell me. I mean, because the
senator, right?
The senator, he goes to the house after, but like he sits there like almost in tears, like saying, "My father was a good man." So like, he was just like, I mean, I misread that. Does he figure out what happened? Because I thought he was supposed to be like the one that took over.
My vibe on that is that he does know, but he's lived with the lie for so long that
he believes it.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And it's coming. It's breaking through.
And maybe so young, maybe when it happened, that it's just like that's just how he's lived and really try. It's just
that's a real phenomenon, right? Like where like people can lie to themselves so much they literally start believing it. They change their story, and you can actually use that in a positive way in your life. A lot of psychology kind of does that with certain things, with like dealing with trauma and stuff, which I think this movie's really kind of about. So I'm interested now in seeing what Perry. This was your first time watching.
First time watching.
I am curious to know what you thought about this film.
So I sat down and watched it, me and my girlfriend, and 15, 25, 30 minutes into it, I was like, wow, this is kind of slow, you know? And then I paused it because I had to go to the bathroom, and I was like, holy smokes, there's like over an hour left. And I came back and I put it back on, and it's 100% a movie I would rewatch. And the fact that it's slow throughout the beginning and it's slowly building and like just throwing things at you little by little is the coolest thing. Like when you finally complete the whole thing, it's like, wow, you know. I thought it was really cool. And to touch on the senator, the fact that he's able to hold on to such a lie like that makes him the perfect politician, you know. I thought that was kind of funny. And then at the end, I wasn't sure was I just spitballing here, but was that his spirit in the house? Because he wasn't actually there, the senator. Like he never was there.
The senator wasn't? What house? Oh, in the house.
In the fire at the end.
Yeah, I guess so. The
it was
idea
just his spirit. Yeah, because she never seen him coming.
Yeah, because he's in his office or whatever at the end, right? And then So,
And then I know it's like a haunted house, but there's so many things that happen outside of the house that I think made it really cool. And then the detective aspect of it, I think the whole murder mystery kind of thing that's going on is like, that was just like putting me on the edge of my seat. I was like, yo, what's going on? He got the chainsaw in the bedroom of this random house, and there's a well, and I was like, what is happening right now? Like, there were so many moments like that just like took me like completely by surprise. So yeah, total fan of this. I thought it was great.
What's the name of the ghost again? Joshua?
Joseph.
Joseph. So what I that was something that kind of confused me, like how the stuff was happening outside, you know, because it's supposed to be like in the house, but I guess Joe Bob said it where as Joseph it starts to get stronger as the movie goes on, and you know,
it's like he's feeding off of the emotional trauma from Russell or whatever. Is it John Russell, right? Something like that.
I felt a bit conflicted because we know that Joseph's in the house, he's a spirit, but at the end we get a glimpse of the father there in the room when the senator walks in and sees Joseph, and he sees him killing Joseph. Couldn't the father also be in the house as a spirit doing all the negative things at the end? Creating all that hate, like all the doors going crazy, the fire happening, pushing this guy off a ledge.
Yeah.
Like that just seems like something that Joseph wouldn't be doing.
Yeah, that Joe Bob Briggs mentioned that. He mentioned that like it seems very weird that all of a sudden the spirit is like.
That's why I think
like,
it's the dad.
It's going after the woman and shit, right? So maybe it is. I mean, that's
why I think it might be the dad. Yeah,
that's an interesting kind of take. I haven't thought about that.
Dad's evil as fuck. You know, like look at what he did to his son, like how he drowned him. Like that's just psycho shit. You know?
Yeah, and now he's trying to kill these guys from telling the truth. You know,
what was it too when they say that like not in everything, but they say in some movies and stuff that like the spirits get angrier as they go on because they've been trapped there. And if you're already a fucking psycho to begin with, you know what I mean? What else does he have to do? He's just stuck in the house, bored shitless. So he's like, I'm gonna torment me some little fuckers.
Hell yeah. Speaking of tormenting little fuckers, Brooks, what did you think about this movie? And this was your first time watching as well.
Yeah. I like this movie. I thought it was pretty good, but I was surprised because it's not really a horror movie so much. It's kind of it's got a little bit of suspense, but the ghost is so benign up until the very end of the movie that it doesn't feel like, you know, like it doesn't feel like George C. Scott's character is in much danger throughout the movie, really. But I mean, it's still an interesting movie. I still liked it. It reminded me of The Ring in a lot of ways, you know, with him having to try and like the ghost trying to direct him to where his body is buried, but without the suspense of him, you know, only having 7 days before he dies. So I think it was kind of like almost a detective story mostly, but I liked how the ghost is like, you know, so benign. Like he does these things and they are creepy because, you know, he's a ghost. But it's not like he's not like, you know, attacking or being like aggressive or anything. He's like, you know, he's just trying to get attention. And like I think one of my favorite parts was, you know, when he's listening back to the seance, and you can hear him actually saying the things that she's writing down. That's creepy. Like I thought that was a really cool.
It's creepy, man. Yeah. There's legitimate creepy parts in this movie to me, right?
That seance gave me hints of Insidious when they're all at the table and the lady's whispering and doing that whole thing. I was like, oh my God, like it just felt like a scene from Insidious 40 years prior. I thought that was so cool.
And they nailed that seance scene. It's really well done, and it's got like this tension about it and this intensity as well. So hell yeah, Brooks, I'm glad that you appreciated it, man. Dylan, you okay? All right, Mike, have you finished the film? Mike, have you finished the film, Mike? I guess not. Mike, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I just finished it. The credits are rolling.
All right, what did you think?
Man, this movie is great. Like I said, like I watched the trailer for it, and I was talking a little bit about like, man, the cinematography looks a little off, and like I don't know, and yeah, and I just wow, it completely blew my mind. It felt like right there at the beginning, it kind of felt like a made-for-TV movie, but then I was like, I paused it for a second. I was like, let me see, let me Google this, And then I found out it was actually a Canadian film, so I didn't know it was a Canadian film. So I was like, okay, cool. There's always a big production difference between
This movie's made for $600,000.
Damn.
Oh wow!
It made $5.5 million.
The special effects are great. My favorite scene, cinematography wise, we'll talk about later. But yeah, it's man, this movie's great. I really enjoyed it. I'm glad. I've never seen this one before too, so it's the first time for me watching it. And I really dug it. Man, I can't wait till we get to there's so many little parts of this one. This movie's just all around fun. And if you're in the chat and haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend renting it. It's on. You can buy it on Amazon Prime for $4.99 or rent it for $1.
Or if you have Shudder, it's free.
Oh, so it's free on Shudder.
It's for free on Shudder, and Joe Bob Briggs has an episode about it that I watched at work today. I was listening to it while I was doing some things, and I really liked it. It was actually the first episode of his new show I watched on Shudder, so I was really pleased. I'm gonna have to. He did one on Deep Red. I was like, damn, I'm gonna have to rewatch Deep Red now, man. So that was super cool. And it's on Peacock. Vern gets paid every time he mentions that. I guarantee it, man.
Well, I didn't want to watch it with ads. It's on Peacock, but it has ads, and I really didn't want to watch this movie with ads because then it would have been like, oh, there's an ad, and I'd have been distracted by it, and I would have just paused it. So,
all right.
Yes,
all right.
I'll agree with you. I will agree with Fable on that one too. Oh, that was the thing too.
Well, that's okay. Go ahead.
On the acting, sorry. George C. Scott did a great job, but he really felt it felt like the way he looked. It looked like Dr. Kelso from Scrubs. I'm trying to remember that guy's name right now, but that's all throughout my head. I just imagined it was Dr. Kelso from Scrubs, playing Mr. Scott.
All right. Well, let's get to the cast. Let's get to the performances. Obviously, the best performance is George C. Scott. So I'm going to steal this one away, because I want everybody to kind of think outside of the box here, okay? Because there are other characters that can be highlighted. But George C. Scott, obviously, we've already mentioned it, carries this movie. He does such a phenomenal job. Dylan, are you there? He does such a phenomenal job. So right now, I'm going to throw it over to Perry. Perry, what's a performance you want to highlight?
I'm going to go with, I don't know if she's a realtor or she just works for the History Society, but the girl who is a writing.
Yes.
Yeah. So that chick,
Trish Van Devere.
Trish.
That's his wife.
In real life, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I thought they were gonna have sex. I don't know. It was kind of fingers crossed, but never happened. Anyway,
you don't want to see George C. Scott, man. I bet, man.
Maybe.
I bet George C. Scott is he's totally ripped under all his clothes.
Maybe
he's just
moving like a fucking snake.
He's laid up on the piano. Come play with my instrument.
I mean, if you want to see a half naked George C. Scott, just watch Dr. Strangelove. He's in his room banging those two chicks. So if you want to see, and he's in better shape too by about 20 years. So
yeah,
that's the one you want to watch.
But so that chick Trish, I thought it was really cool how she kept sticking around. At first, I thought she was a little suspect, she was not telling him something about this house. But no, as the movie progressed, I really enjoyed that she's always there. She's always coming. She's getting involved with him, and she doesn't need to at all. Not even in the slightest. And she's just no, this is not right. Something odd's happening. Oh my God, there's a dead body. What's going on? What's happening? She was fully invested in this. Yeah. And I thought that was really cool. And who knows if he would have got as far if not for her assisting him.
Yeah, right. So. And her performance when she, first of all, when he has his panic attack after fucking hearing the voice and all that and seeing the fucking dude in the tub and all that shit, and he passes the fuck out, he calls her and she shows the fuck up, right? And her performance there, when she's crying because she's heard this tragic story, that's so well done. And also, she's got it for him because, second time he meets her, she's introducing him to her mother and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Speaking of introducing him to your mother, Dylan, what's a performance that stands out? We've already taken George C. Scott off the board.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, without a doubt, he's the number one star in this. He's absolutely fantastic. Anything that has him, I'll probably always, especially if it's a horror, I'll always give
Is he like a big actor? I've never heard of him before.
Yeah,
George C. Scott?
Yeah.
he's definitely one of the bigger ones. I don't know what got him
was
so famous.
Patton, Hustler.
Hustler,
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. Doctor
I've
Strangelove.
never really
Dr.
seen
Strangelove?
I know him from
No clue.
The Changeling. I really know him from horror stuff, to be honest.
Exorcist 3.
Exorcist.
Fire
He was in
Starter.
Exorcist 3?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
the main dude. The greatest psychological thriller of the 90s.
God, if I'm smoking weed, dude. I love Exorcist 3.
He's the dude. He's like, it wasn't on it. That tape's not on it, and all that shit. Like, yeah, dude, that's him, man.
Wow.
I was gonna say he's also Ebenezer Scrooge and probably one of the more
Yeah, the best Christmas Carol.
Christmas
The
Carol.
best Scrooge.
It's the 80s one, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude.
84.
That one's good. Was that on was that made for TV?
I think it wasn't made for TV.
That was so good though. Man, we gotta fucking do that one.
Yeah, dude. In my opinion, the best Christmas Carol movie.
Hell yeah, man. Better than the Muppets and Scrooge.
Yeah,
dude. Okay.
Yeah, dude. The ghosts are like so much better too in that one.
Oh, Dylan, but
Yeah.
let's get back to what you were saying.
You're good, my
Yeah.
guy. Oh,
He's
and
also
he
in
was Rainbird and Firestarter.
Yeah, Firestarter.
Oh, were we both saying that at the same time? Like my man. I guess maybe Claire. You know, they have a good chemistry together. Really, man, it really is. Or maybe the detective. The detective is pretty good because I like when him and George C. Scott are kind of having their back and forth. You know, him trying to get him to admit, or just trying to, get at him. And George C. Scott is just so go ahead, get your warrant. I'll be here. Yeah,
because this dude
George C.
literally
Scott
just
is
shows
like
up,
that
shows up,
swagger.
and knows where to dig for this fucking corpse of this kid.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? It's a little suspect. I mean, I'm just saying, like,
definitely.
so the cop was in the right
I would
there.
go, what was his name? The Wit is the detective's name, but in real life,
John Colicos.
Colicos.
I don't know,
John
but Joseph
Colicos.
killed him. Joseph made that car flip. I don't know what he did.
He sure
He
did.
did a Hulk punch in the front. The whole car just flipped over, dude.
Looks like Peter Medic did Species too.
Oh, weird. Interesting.
And
Speaking
2
of species,
episodes of The
speaking of species too, Brooks, what's a performance you want to highlight?
I don't know if it would count as a performance, but I liked the ghost in this movie a lot.
Good.
And like particularly how he was used, how it was very, it wasn't in your face, it wasn't very jump scary. It's just, like this thing that's trying to do, it's like trying to, get this guy's attention, and, he's having to try and figure out, what this ghost wants, is trying to tell him, like what it wants him to do. It's like, and I love, this is very sad, like the story behind this ghost, when you see, what happened to him, and he's just like lost, he's confused, he doesn't know, his father like betrayed him and killed him, and he's like, you feel sorry for him, even though, like when he's first, starting to do his thing, it is a bit creepy, and you're like, what is, you don't know if this ghost is going to be like, it's going to try and kill people or what. But the actual truth is like actually a little more disturbing, I think. There's this idea, this poor kid who already was disabled, he was crippled his whole life, and then his father just kills him out of hand. It's tragic.
Yeah, it's incredibly tragic and very sad, like you were saying. This really gets to the core of the trauma, and I think it does it very, very well. Mike, what do you think? What's a performance you want to highlight?
I'd like to highlight the wheelchair. I think it did a wonderful job, especially right there at the end where it just went all the way straight down without even flipping over. Right there at the very end, it wasn't
It's like
even
an
guided.
1800
It's just
wheelchair.
dropped. Yeah, that thing was pretty sturdy and scary. It did a great job for what it was supposed to do. It turned when it was supposed to turn. Like it took direction very well. I mean, it was fine acting from an inanimate object. So y'all took everybody else. So there's not really any.
The director said that wheelchair was the best actor he ever worked with.
I don't know. I thought it's only because the ball was too problematic.
Yeah.
Like they
It was
actually
all wet.
they apparently had to do that scene. I think Joe Bob Briggs said they had to do it like 30 times to make sure so it would land at the right spot or whatever. But that ball scene is like, that's the moment where he's like, out of everything that happens to George C. Scott's character in this film, that's the moment where he's like, I'm fucking done with this shit. Like, what the fuck, man? And if Jelani was here, and unfortunately he couldn't be here tonight, I'm sure he would have told us already that he would have got out of that house as soon as the first fucking thing happened, man. So let's get into the style and the structure of this film. I think it is pretty much almost impeccably crafted. I do really like the pace. It is a slow burn, deliberately paced movie, but it doesn't ever drag for me. It stays intriguing, especially when it shifts out of the typical haunted house fare, which it does so well in like its first act. And when it starts getting into the mystery as it develops in the later part of the second act, and then into the reveal and the final bits. So it goes like, from this like deliberately slow build, creepy, psychodrama, first of all, about this dude who's like grieving the loss of his family. Then it becomes this haunted house movie. Then it becomes this like scarier haunted house movie. Then it goes into this detective story. And then it ramps the fuck up for this ending when there's like a fire and all kinds of crazy shit going on. And all grounded with a really real story. So I think the structure of it's great. I love the craft of it. They built this set of this house, a 3-story house they built on a set in Vancouver so that they can move that camera around, because the director in the commentary repeatedly says it was very important to me that the camera is the ghost at certain times when it's moving around, doing this kind of stuff. All those bits, the way they shoot some of those scenes, like I said, it's genuinely creepy when he's playing the piano and the door opens behind him. I'm like, you got to get the fuck out of here, man. Like, that's shit scarier than like Jason, man. I know people say Jason's real, maybe ghosts aren't, but like, we've all been in their place sometimes. Or
There's more of a chance that fucking ghosts are real than Jason.
Well, Jason is a ghost technically, right? If you want to get into it, but
or
he's not. I don't know. We've never really explained that. Maybe that's going to be the next Friday 13th movie, is like Friday 13th 1.5, to explain what the fuck happened. But anyway, where was I? Oh, the scares are so perfectly crafted. They are genuinely creepy when the piano key hits. The way they just linger on certain things. Oh my goodness, the way the camera moves, I think it's great. And the set looks fantastic. You can't tell this movie is necessarily shot in Vancouver, and I appreciate that. Dylan, what did you think about the style and structure of this film?
Dude, that's what really makes this movie just absolutely what it is and how great it is. The style is just beautiful. Like you said, what they did with the house and some of the shots, man, it just, how they got to make the camera feel like the ghost. It's brilliant, man. And the music just goes perfect with it. I think obviously the structure is a little bit slower paced than some people might be used to, or what they kind of think going into it. But it definitely, I think everything has a point, and, you know, by the end, it's definitely, you know what I mean, it all pays off. And I think everything works out great. The house, absolutely gorgeous. Just the whole look, kind of that like old Victorian style, I guess maybe you'd say.
Yeah.
The shots with the stairs,
the
ball coming down, and they're like, we had to film that like 50 times just for the ball to land in the right spot. You know what I mean?
And it's so perfect. It's so perfectly placed in the script, right? Where like they repeatedly utilize and show the chandelier and the staircase, like throughout the movie, so that the ending has that much more impact, right? And I don't know, man. I absolutely. Oh, we got our first porn bot, so that's nice. That's always nice. But yeah, you're right, man. It's all that stuff is so incredibly well done, so purposefully placed there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, man, I really dig it. I know that doesn't count for the music, so I'll save whatever I got for that.
Nice.
But definitely, dude, the cinematography is a big thing on this, and that was kind of I was debating on getting the 4K for this because I don't own it yet either on the Blu-ray, and but after watching it, because 4K is like $50, I know it will go down eventually. But I think this is definitely one that is worthy of the 4K purchase, especially if you don't own it already, because that's just one of the biggest things with this film is how structurally how the director sets up, the shots and how he films everything and how he pans with everything. It's just it's fucking great, man. It really just it's a make or break for the movie, man. To be completely honest,
there's no like restoration.
Oh, really?
So like that's going to be really cool to
Severn,
see.
I believe, is the same company doing the 4K, so that's
no
restoration.
Yeah, there's no restoration, but it still looks
that camera negative or something. Then
I don't know. It still looks fine, but it doesn't look as good as like the Scream Factory or the Arrow movies that we've been watching lately. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Speaking of looking good, Perry, why don't you tell us what you thought about the style and structure of this film?
I gotta say the style and structure. Let me start off with the style. I really liked it. I like the camera angles, like when they were in the attic upstairs, which that to me didn't feel like an attic. It felt like one of those rooms where back in the day, if you had a child with a disability or something mentally wrong, they would lock them in like a special room.
That is what it was.
That's what that was, right? Okay, because I wasn't sure at first. I was like, that's kind of fucked up. This kid can't walk, and you put him in a room with a bunch of stairs. Like that's kind of ridiculous, dude. Like that's torture in itself. Like he can never escape there.
Yeah.
But the structure wise, I thought the timing of this movie was great. In the sense of pacing, like how we see him in New York, and then we see him in his present day, and it's empty, and there's boxes, and he turns, and then you get the flashback of everybody like they were living in the home, and then that is ended, and then like we see like chronologically, there's these massive time jumps, and it flows so fluidly. And I think that's why it felt like a slow burn, because it felt like a 2-hour movie to me. But I feel like it needed to be because there's so much time is passing by. Like these things are like taking months and months to go on. I don't know. I thought that was really cool. And I appreciate them punching us in the beginning of the movie with the guy going in the phone book and then the family tragically dying. Like that just came out of left field. They were all laughing. They were like, we're having a great family trip. Oh, the car broke down. We'll get AAA. It'll be okay. I'll be right back. And then boom, your whole life is over, dude.
Yeah.
And then we see that throughout the whole time. He never gets scared. He doesn't care. There's nothing left to live for. Like, I'm just going to go and investigate. I don't really care. And there's no hints of religion, which except for like the little charm, but there was really no religion throughout the film. And I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's like
we got the Exorcist and shit. Yeah. So.
Well, like typically when you see horror and ghost and spirituality, there's like some type of, you see crosses in the house, you see this, and we see nothing to do with any religion. It's just like, this shit's scary. Like this guy isn't scared. He's going to face it head on. And I was like, I really enjoyed that whole aspect of it,
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. One thing about the story that does seem weird is that like this dude, and Joe Bob Briggs said this, right? But like, he was like, so this dude just lost his family. He's in terrible grief. So let's put him in this fucking giant ass house that's going to be just him alone, empty. Right? Like it's just like, that's a lot of house for one person.
I thought of this house because of the piano.
What they see
I know there's 10 bedrooms and it's only you.
But yeah, that's the idea though, is that they got the piano room. And so like he can work on his stuff there. But anyway, Brooks, who Evil Face Bad says looks like he only goes to the strip club, but the DJ is playing nothing but Led Zeppelin.
I would love to see someone try to strip to Led Zeppelin.
Seriously.
Oh, it can be done. Trust me.
Stairway to Heaven.
If there's $1, there's a dream.
Yes, exactly. Where there's a dollar dream, there's a way. Anyway, Brooks, what did you think about the style and structure of this film?
I like the way this movie is structured. It has a lot of dips and rises. It kind of feels like to me when I thought about it, it's like, because the theme of him being like a musician and everything. The song kind of feels like a musical piece in and of itself, and that you have it going this way, and then all of a sudden it slows down a little bit, and then it picks back up, and then all of a sudden it changes. It's a very kind of it has like a little suspense here, a little horror there, a little mystery there. And I think, it keeps it from being too dull because it is very much a film about just a guy going about doing, things, and then, some creepy ghost stuff happens.
It is a film about a guy going about doing things. I love that description, man. They should put that on the 4K.
It seems to me like his character is kind of like, in his declining years.
Yeah.
So he's just trying to keep busy pretty much. Like, he's just
especially
doing what he
with
loves.
Everything that's happened, right?
Yeah.
Because you get the idea that he had rediscovered his youth because he had a younger wife, he had a kid, right? And he was filled with this youthful energy in those first scenes that goes away.
Yeah.
And he's pushing a car.
Yeah, but he's all fucking happy and jovial. And the only time that we kind of get close to that is when he's starting to teach the class, right? And he's kind of like, there is some subtle shit in this performance and in the script itself that I think is absolutely astounding. I love subtlety in movies. They don't have to always explain everything so blatantly, and they don't.
Yeah. And like the whole title, The Changeling, I was like, why is it called that? But then when he learns about the kid who replaced the murdered kid, I was like, I get it now, because it's like, it's like how the fairy used to steal the kid and put a changeling in its place.
Exactly. It's creepy shit, man, when you really think about it.
Yeah.
And this is why everybody looks at their kids and they're like, I think they're fucking evil. Well, maybe they are.
Just put some iron on them, see what happens.
Yeah, just it's like that Hellboy story. You know too much to live, Van Helsing. Anyway, what about you, Mike? What did you think about the style and structure of this film? Mike just told me to wait.
You take orders from Mike now, eh?
Yeah, apparently. No, we have to wait. Well, we're gonna wait. So why don't you just tell us what?
Sorry, my bad, man. Sorry. I had to do something on a different.
You're on a live show, right? Real quick, just so you know.
Yeah, I was doing two things. Well, everybody was talking. So I thought man, this is great. Everybody talked about the pacing. Like it's done really well. We are talking about the quality of the film. I really dug the graininess in this film. It really brought a different. Yes, they are. Just that graininess of that film just kept it. Just added a little bit of extra creepiness, especially when you got into the house when it was darker and you couldn't see as well, and it was just like, oh, what's going on? And then even into the kids' room in the attic, it added to it. My favorite shot by far was the well shot where they're looking down on the well and you can see what it actually looks like. Not a lot of overhead shots like that done. So it was very, I really dug how they did that shot because it's a great perspective of like just how, like, of that room that they're in. They're tearing the floor up because you just walk into that little room and you're tearing the floor up and you're like, oh, how big is this? And then it's like, damn, there it is. So I thought that was done really well. Everything was real tight. I like that they were shooting like a lot of the rooms. It was so like, it's just like, I guess it was essentially like the framing. Like it was like, okay, hey, they get this huge room and like it's the piano room and like we could bring it to you. And then like everything is all tight right there in the corner, like the seance room, everything is tight. So it brings you in. It's like such a lot of space, but it still brings you in real close.
One thing that the director was talking about on the commentary, Mike, you might appreciate this, is he said that he loved Kubrick and that Kubrick had developed this new like wide angle lens that he was using. And so he used that lens. He was like, gotcha. It's kind of like, who's the best? Kubrick? What lens does he use? Let's fucking do that.
Give me that lens right now.
That's funny.
That's a good strategy.
But it's really good. Like it's shot really well, and the special effects, compared to today, I mean, it's just it did a great job of just that chilling creepiness. And the death scene at the beginning with the family, it's one of those where it's just kind of like, man, like if it was done today, it would be you would. It's kind of like they didn't show. There was no gore. There's no blood. It was just kind of like everything is implied. Like this is what happened. So
it's almost like elevated horror in a way.
Yeah, very, very elevated. Very. So, what else was there? The I did like that they used that part of that hotel in Vancouver where the historical society was based. It's that angle, like that. The architecture of that was pretty cool. So, yeah, like there's just so many different little elements of just the shooting style, the framing, and it's just really made this like adds this whole like just it's I can't what's his face, the guy that did The Professional, Leon,
Luc Besson.
Luc Besson, he likes to do those. It felt like that almost the tightness of everything. So
Yeah.
it's like
Nice.
wide open space, but everything was real tight. So
Nice
I dug
stuff,
it up really.
Nice. One other thing I want to say is, I was mentioning how this is legitimately creepy and kind of scary. I think one of the scariest scenes is the fucking bathtub scene when he like sees the fucking boy for the first time. Cause there's this thing that you think is an eye, but it's the fucking water bubble coming up, like the air bubble or whatever. Like, I don't know. That was an incredibly like shocking fucking scene to rewatch, man. I loved it. But this music, this music. This movie is heightened by the music, right? So the score is done by Rick Wilkins, who did a bunch of other works. He's mostly known as an arranger, but he doesn't really have anything else that stands out except for this. This edition of The Changeling I have comes with the CD soundtrack because it is a fucking pitch perfect score.
Whoa.
Yeah, CD's nuts, but it is a pitch perfect score. The piano, and it gets playful and it gets creepy. The music, so it reflects George C. Scott's character as a composer, as a musician, right? So it's reflecting some of that stuff. But just like the camera acts like the ghost, like Joseph, so does the music. It's playful at times. It's sorrowful at other times. It's like heavy and tension filled in other times. So there are moments where it does go, all the films always go to the slasher psycho thing, the wank, wank, wank. There are moments of that. But when you're like, the first act of this film is scored so impeccably well. When I was watching the Joe Bob Briggs version earlier, I had my headphones in, right? Holy cow. And it's like, it permeates the film with atmosphere, with mood, with tone. It is brilliant. Today at work, while I was doing my work before we open, we were listening to it, and it's a great isolated score to listen to. It is phenomenal. It is absolutely it may be the best haunted house score I have ever seen, because right now I can't recall the music in Legend of Hell House or the music in The Haunting, the original one, not the one from the 90s. But like, like, I'm surprised Creed's not on the 90s Haunting remake. Actually, that would be pretty fun. Anyway, I love the fucking music in this movie. I think it's great. What about you, Perry? What did you think about the music?
I thought the music was pretty cool. Like I don't know any of the songs or anything, but like I enjoyed the atmosphere that it helped to get more immersed into the film. There was one scene where he was playing the piano and it was the same song that he had just thought of and played was on the music box. And that was the one thing that I thought they would have elaborated a little bit more about. Because like, I thought maybe he was like, oh, I'm going to sell this and make a ton of money or something, I thought something was going to happen from that, but nothing really came from that. But no, all the sounds, the sound bites, the bathtub that he was waking up every day at 6 o'clock in the morning to, like, terrifying. Like, imagine waking up to that, and then the maintenance man, it's the pipes in the morning. It's an old house.
Like, why would it happen at the same time every day? He's like, old houses get old.
Yeah, they got a routine. I don't know, what do you want from me? And I'm like, I thought that was really cool. And then we
I hope he fired that guy, Perry.
No, he works for the Historian Society, right? Because he's just a renter. He doesn't own the house.
Yeah, what a weird fucking thing, by the way, to rent a house from a historical society. But I guess if there's a historical property, that's who you rent it from, I guess.
I would love to know what this guy was paying in rent each month, because it's ridiculous. His water bill, his electric bill, he's got to maintain the lawn. Like, no, bro. There's way too much money you're spending.
I love it because before he agrees to it, he's like, what's it take to keep up with a house like this? Like, oh, we already got that taken care of. And they're like, okay. But like, it is weird where he's like, oh, I'm just gonna find a place to rent while and he rents this fucking giant like 20-room fucking mansion. I don't know, it's weird. Dylan, what'd you think about the music in the film?
Sorry about that, my guy. Had to go back and forth. I told you.
You're fine, brother. Back and forth, up and down, slow and round. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Dude, the music is definitely another one of the best parts of the movie. Who did the music again? I'm sure you guys said it while I was walking away.
It was Rick Wilkins.
What else has he done?
Not much, actually.
Not much, really.
Well, probably like a bunch of TV work and stuff like that.
Okay.
But like, he's mostly known as, in his career, he's like an arranger, right? So he's done things like for people's jazz albums and stuff like that. So he's had a very successful career, just not necessarily in film.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, I guess I think the music is great in this. Definitely, there's times where the music just hits at the exact perfect spot, and it's what adds to the effect. And like I said before, it can make the hair on the back of your neck stand up. And it's. I feel like it's got when did this come out? 1980. So it definitely has kind of like, because it's slower paced at times, it can have that kind of slow 80s, like, what is it, like jazzy music to it in a way, you know what I mean? But yeah, dude, I think the music is absolutely great in this.
Nice.
Crazy that the guy, he had a great career, but I thought maybe he'd done something big or something, because I think he hits this on the nail, man.
If the movie would have hit bigger in the States, maybe, but it didn't. It took some time for it to really kind of develop what is considered a cult following. And I saw that. I think BJ had a question earlier, like, why is this considered a cult film? It's because it wasn't a movie that popped real big and became like a big moment in the zeitgeist where everybody's talking about it. And it had like, I guess, VHS rentals. So it never permeated the consciousness of the public more fully, but it did garner an appreciation from a smaller crowd. That's usually what a cult classic is.
Probably why Severin, like, I couldn't believe it was Severin that picked that.
I know.
Up too. I would have thought like Scream Factory.
I don't think I have another Severin Blu-ray. Speaking of Severin, Brooks's favorite character in Near Dark is Severin, played by Bill Paxton, and that's everybody's favorite character outside of Jesse, played by Lance Hendrickson. Brooks, what did you think about the music in this film?
I think it's used really well in this film. It's got a lot of piano, of course, which fits in, with Scott's character, being a pianist. And like every suspenseful movie, you got to have the violins, and there's plenty of violin in this movie. But it's used unless like in a suspense movie like Psycho, you get a lot of the tense violin, like hey. This one it kind of does more of the like melancholy, like. Is very gives it a very somber feel,
There are those moments where like a score, like when the door opens and the act happens first and then the music goes.
Yeah. That's the thing about violins. You can have them going, like you can have the slow bring down, and then all of a sudden, like you just go a little faster, and all of a sudden it's like tense.
Yeah, and then sometimes you get Jimmy Page up there with a bow and an electric guitar,
and piano's like that too. Like piano can be very like soothing, but then I'll go and like dun 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 dun. It can do that as well. So yeah, I think that like it's it's a good soundtrack. I mean, it fits this movie like a glove.
Like a glove. And the second movie in a row here on PCP Movie Night about a pianist trying to solve a murder mystery.
Yeah,
right.
It's weird also because I recently watched the movie Inferno, and the ending is the exact same. So when I saw the ending of this movie, I'm like, wow, deja vu.
You just watched Inferno?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
Dude, the music in that shit. Suspirium. Oh, next year, baby. Horrorfest.
It's still damn good.
Yeah, even without Goblin, Argento's still a master. All right, speaking of masters, even without goblins, Mike, what'd you think about the music in this film?
Man, I love the soundtrack in this. It hits you right from the very beginning. What Dylan was saying was it's got like all the jazz and different things. There's a lot of the great noir feel to it, but with the whole mystery aspect of like trying to figure out everything and just a very subtle little like. I guess at parts of times it reminded me of Blade Runner in a way with some of just the little keys and the just a little bit of how you'd hear like a little bit of the piano, a little bit of the violin, and then just subtly just kind of carries the movie all the way through. I love this. It's just like the music box. That song was kind of like the predominant theme, and then you have, and it's just kind of like I love how it pops up at the end. It keeps playing, and I don't know. It's a really good all around soundtrack. It's one of those like if you watch this film and was just like, man, I didn't hear any of the music, like you completely missed it.
Yeah, the music's a character in this film, literally,
just like the wheelchair, and it's I can't think of what I'm trying to say. Like I've got it here, but I just can't. Oh, it's a point that you had made. If I can remember it, I'll come back to it. So, but no, it was
all right,
really good. I dig it. I could like it's on the tip of my tongue.
You like it. You like it. I get it.
I should have been writing notes while I was doing this at the very last minute. So, you know.
Well, then it would have taken you 20 minutes longer to watch the film. Anyway, what is the theme of this movie? What's it trying to say? What's the message it's conveying, or at least what's it speaking to you? Perry, let's kick it off.
It takes a murder mystery to forget about your dead wife and kids. You know, because at the end of the movie, that's what I said. When the house is on fire, I'm like, wow, what a way to forget about your dead wife and kid, right?
Yeah.
He's not thinking about them anymore. They're a faint memory now. You know, there's this house on fire in front of him. He just realized that there's a such thing as ghost, you know. He might see his family in the afterlife now, you know, maybe he got some hope out of it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's what I got.
Okay. All right. Nice. What about you, Brooks? Go ahead, Mike.
I just remember what it was. It was how they were using the sound, like y'all talking about, like the bam bam, like the sounds and the practical effects, and those sounds would carry into the music. So I thought that was done really well too. So
absolutely, that's nice. Good point. That was worth waiting for. Brooks, what did you think about the theme? What's it saying to you?
Well, I think it's about kind of like the insidious nature of greed. Like, you know, George C. Scott's character, he seems like somebody, you know, he's lost everything. So like, you know, he doesn't have that problem, but like the idea that this guy would like kill his son because, you know, he's afraid of losing the inheritance, and like, you know, how just like how fucking gross that is, you know, like not only is he like killing, you know, a kid, but he's also like fucking this other kid up so he can use him in his scheme just so he can, like, you know, keep some money. And it's like that seems like, you know, ghosts are always have to be motivated by some kind of like strong negative emotion. And like that's what it seems like to me, is like, you know, his father's greed and how it overcame him, his any affection he might have had for him is what, you know, caused this ghost to be so like, you know, to be so lost and, you know, not understand, because, you know, you get the impression that this kid probably didn't have much either, despite being, you know, born into this wealthy family and having this like inheritance or whatever, but he doesn't get to enjoy it at all, you know, but, you know, he loses his life over it. And it's, you know, it's a sad thing, you know, that someone can put more value on, you know, just material possessions, which are really, you know, not as important over, you know, humanity and like a life, you know, a child's life.
Hell yeah, man. Right on, brother. I mean, I don't disagree with anything you said there.
Yeah, absolutely. He wasn't even subtle about it. He's like, I'm just going to drown this kid and look at him in the eyes.
Like the kid's like
I'm going to kill you.
Dad, what are you doing, Dad?
Give me your fucking coin. Yeah. Your goddamn, my medal. Oh man, that voice is so creepy to me.
Yeah.
Mike, what's this movie saying to you?
Life matters even after that life is dead. So, like the kids, the whole once you lose everything, you're free to do anything. So it's kind of like he's like, I'm the one that has to do this. I have to figure it out. I have to do right by this kid. Like his family was unjustly, I mean, it was an accident, but it was like, so like accidents are forgivable, but like once he finds out that this kid is murdered, he's like, no, I'm not. Like I'm going to make sure justice is done, and I'm going to be justice is done his way. So because he doesn't go to the cops, he doesn't do anything. He makes sure that it's like we're going to, personal vengeance sometimes is greater than, your local police department.
Yeah, and the cops are in the back pocket of the senator. They're
Yeah.
out doing the senator's bidding. So is a historical place. Like they fired homegirl for no reason.
Yeah.
Yep. And that one lady, the busybody calling him. You're like,
Yeah,
let me give you the number.
What a snitch.
Yeah, fucking snitch. Snitches get stitches around here. George C.
Man.
Scott's gonna fucking shank your ass. Dylan conveniently gone throughout the entirety of this theme conversation. So we had comic book writer Dan Waters on the show last year, and he was, of course, working on Homesick Pilots. So we were asking him about that and talking about it, and he started saying some stuff, and I think Verno's the one that kind of brought this back to my memory recently. But he said, in every ghost story, ghosts represent trauma in every single fucking one of them. And he was talking about how that's, spills out into his book. So now every time I read a ghost story or watch a ghost story, it kind of makes me revisit those, what I think it's trying to say. And outside of the obvious trauma that's inflicted on Joseph, right? Which we've already hit and nailed, Brooks really nailed that down about like the greed and how that kind of like led to like the devaluation of human life, and shit like that. But like George C. Scott is the main character. It's also about his trauma. This whole story, the story of Joseph, is reflective in a way and parallel to Joseph's story. So the bit with the ball, that's his daughter's ball. Okay. And there's even a moment where he's like, I want to be done with all of this. He thinks it's his daughter, and he thinks he brought her into that house with that ball, and he throws the fucking ball away. And that's when the ball fucking falls, and he's helpless from that point. And like, he's just like, he backs the fuck up, and like, now he's got to find a mission. But finding that purpose is not necessarily that he kind of forgot about it, but he kind of dealt with it, right? When the fire happens, the fire, the ghost's trauma, the ghost's story, that whole mystery, the house itself represents the grief that has taken this man's life. This dude is living in grief. He has to leave his apartment in New York or wherever to go find a new place. His grief follows him there and permeates this fucking place, almost as if it permeated it 100 years before, just waiting for him, right? So I love that. And defeating the house, solving the mystery, getting justice for Joseph, that is all tied in with him dealing with the trauma and the grief. This movie is about dealing with grief. It's about the effects it has, the loneliness and isolation that it causes. They intentionally put him in this big ass house empty to show us visually how isolated and alone he is and how locked into his own mind he is, because his obsession with solving this mystery, he's going into strangers' homes, digging up their fucking basement, like digging up wells underneath their daughter's bedroom and shit, right? Like, he's obsessed because that represents the mental anxiety and shit that he's going through. And when he defeats it at the end and all the fire and all that shit, that's what's happening, is that's getting burned down, and he's finally letting go and realizing he still has a life to live. So that's what I think we're dealing with. Dylan, let's wrap this up. What's this movie saying to you?
It's definitely a biggest part, I'd say, is grief. And what kind of maybe these stern men went through back in the day. He was more of that quiet, didn't really let his feelings show. He kind of just went along with his shit after. But grief is definitely one of the biggest things, I'd say.
One of the most powerful scenes, Dylan, is when we see him after he's horse riding and it reminds him of his daughter. Mm-hmm. And then the next thing we see is him crying.
Yeah.
In his bedroom, alone, in the middle of the fucking night.
Yeah. Never in front of people. Yeah. And he had it all by himself with no one around. Wouldn't let somebody see him like that, But George C. Scott just does such a great job in this role. he's just such a great actor. Wish we got more horror stuff out of him because he is just a joy to watch, man. You know, it's like when you get John Wayne, man, doing like if you got John Wayne to do a horror movie or something, you know what I mean? God damn.
Wouldn't that be fucking wild?
I know that Scarpad had told me that there was like a John Wayne movie with like a killer octopus or something. If he's in the chat, he'll know what I'm talking about. There is something like that with John Wayne. I don't know if that's a horror movie though. It might be more sci-fi.
Yeah, but okay, that's cool though. Yeah,
man. It definitely grief is one of the biggest things, and I'm sure you hit every freaking nail on the money.
We all have, including you, man. Grief, trauma, greed, getting over the death of your wife and daughter.
Life, man. Life after the death of everyone you truly care about. You know.
Yeah, and Mike said something very profound
to someone.
What did Mike say? He said life matters even when that life is over. Oh, that's dope. That's deep. I'm impressed, everybody. All right, it's time to rate this film. We're going to kick it off with Dylan, but I want you out there in the PCP Army, in the chat. If you watch The Changeling, out of 5 you digs, what do you give it? Dylan, what about you?
This is one, like I said, I still want to keep watching and going back, but I think I'm going to go with because it's definitely not one for everyone, you know, and you got to be ready for a slow burn and a real sit down watch, you know, and got to be full attentive, you know. I think I'm going to go, oh shoot, but this is your channel, not mine. 3.69.
Station. Yeah, nice.
I think you'd allow that one.
I always allow a 0.69 in my life at any time.
I think 3.6. You know, I was gonna say 3.5, but 3.69 I'm gonna go with because George C. Scott just hits it out of the park. I'm not gonna sit here and act like it is my favorite and I'll be rewatching it all the time, but it's a good film and it's to check out every 5 years or something. You know what I mean? It's a good watch. You know.
You're right. It's a good every 5 years.
It's a good ghost movie. It's a good ghost story. You know what I mean? It would have been a good like double feature with when we did a ghost story.
Yeah, it would have been. You know? It would have been a long double feature, but it would have been fun. It would have been a good one. Definitely. Yeah. Also, in that one, ghosts are about trauma.
Yeah.
Speaking of trauma, Perry, what about you? What do you give this one out of 5 possible, you digs?
Out of 5, I'm going to give it a solid 4.0. I think it's really good. I think it's something that I probably wouldn't recommend to people just because it's a little bit of a slower burn. And I don't know, in real life, I don't know if that many people don't like movies from the 80s. But yeah, no, I thought it was really cool. There's nothing about it that I would change. And usually when I watch a movie, I'm like, oh, that's kind of dumb. That would have been better if, you know, X and Y happened. But for the most part, this movie was awesome. You know, there was a lot of things that they touched on that they came back around to and like tied up those ends, like made everything fit. And there were so many like hard left turns that I did not see coming at all. That just made it really good. So yeah, nice. Solid 4 for me.
All right. What about you, Brooks?
I'd give it a 4. It's a good movie, but it's one of those ones where, you know, you feel like, you know, you couldn't just, it's not a movie you just want to, you know, pick up and watch like just any time. This movie kind of strikes me as a movie like a couple of like years down the line, like on like a Halloween, I might like feel like revisiting it, you know, because it's a good ghost story, and you know I haven't seen a whole lot of, you know, ghost movies in my day, but I think this is probably one of the best ones that I know of, at least.
Yeah. Well, if anybody liked this movie and wants more like it, I would recommend The Haunting, the original one from the 60s. And I would recommend The Legend of Hell House. And a ghost story, but a ghost story is a bit more trying to bring that classic vibe into the 80s. But that's still worth a watch. But The Haunting and The Legend of Hell House, and you could even put The House on Haunted Hill a little bit if you want, but it's a little bit more.
The Fog, I'd say, is a ghost story too.
The Fog is a really great fucking ghost story.
That's more mainstream nowadays than the ones you obviously.
That's another one that is a bit of a slow burn, and these slow, deliberately paced, atmospheric films work better for that. When you try to do a ghost story in a slasher mode or something, it doesn't work, and it's stupid. And if you do it with all CG, it just doesn't work. Mike, what about you? Out of 5 you digs, what do you give this film?
Well, I was going to say there's an A24 film that's called A Ghost Story. That's pretty damn good.
Isn't Casey Affleck in that?
Yeah, that's who it is. He's the lead. And it's a good movie. This one though, I would give a 4.5. You digs, because it's kind of it's got everything that a good horror, chilling flick needs. So, it's a little bit elevated, I guess you could say, with the psychology behind everything, and I just really enjoy it. So it's one that I'm gonna have to jump on that rating website and do a little review on there too.
Talking about Letterboxd?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it's one of those too. Like, I got another friend that's a big horror fanatic, and it's one of those. It's like, hey, let's make sure we watch this one during Halloween when he does his little, at home horror fest. So
nice.
It's
all right.
It's a fun
That's
film.
awesome, man. You definitely gonna want to check out his Blu-ray then, man. So you can do that commentary deep dive, baby.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
I don't want to do the physical. I'm sorry, Robbie. I know it's I don't want to do physical media, but then again, that's why I love physical media, just for all the commentaries and that.
They don't do that on the digitals, man. Not nowadays.
But I don't want to fall down that rabbit hole, because I'll end up like Mr. Bills. Like,
hey, dude, even look at Perry back there, man.
I got hella games,
man.
Yo, I've been buying hella games, dude. Yeah, those are all video
movies,
games.
too.
There's a lot of Blu-rays too.
It's going to get worse for me because I just got a Nintendo 64, so it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. Anyway, for my rating, I'm going 4 ya digs. I think it's a great film, great score, an amazing performance by George C. Scott, as Vern said in the chat. His performance alone makes it a must watch. I love this film. I think it's great. I love the thematic stuff that it's playing with. I love the pace. I love the atmosphere, everything that we talked about. But alone, George C. Scott and the music, it makes it 4 ya digs automatically, outside of just the compelling story and the really well-crafted film. So a 4 from me and Brooks and Perry, a 3.69 from Dylan, and a 4.5 from Mike, for a PCP average of 4.00008439. 69, dudes. It's weird how that works out. Vern gives it a 3.5. Fable gives it a 3.5. Two Gun gives it a 3.69. And that one, Eric, gives it 4 ya digs. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for the Changeling movie review. That concludes the Changing movie review, but do join us, as Horrorfest is not even, we're barely started here. You see, we just finished the first third, basically, right? We got a lot to go, and it's actually Jordan Peele weekend coming up. So on Saturday, join us on Dylan's Horror Show as we talk about Us, and that will be a very lively conversation, I guarantee you. And then next week for PCP Movie Night, join us for Get Out. Kind of weird how we're doing it backwards, but I think I really appreciate that, because I just watched Nope not too long ago. Now we can watch Us, and then we can go back to where Jordan Peele really started out with his feature film career with Get Out. So great times, y'all. We'll be right back after this brief intermission for some back chat here on PCP Movie Night for Horrorfest 2022.
What's up?
How's it going?
It's going good. Yeah.
I am editing photos
Ooh.
in the background. So if you see me just staring off into space, it's because it's just.
Are you like a photographer?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I had we had a busy weekend with shows, so that's why. So I'm behind, trying to get caught up. So.
What kind of photography do you do?
A little bit of everything. Right now, I'm just doing concert photography. So,
Oh, that's awesome, dude. I would have loved to do that. I did real estate photography for like 3 years.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, I never got into like the actual fun side of photography. Like that would have been great to like go to a concert, dude.
Yeah, like I try to do that for because they want to be able to make sure you can do the virtual walkthroughs, and it's just kind of like this sucks. Like I can just do this all with a cell phone. Like it's not.
Yeah.
Like so.
Hey everybody, welcome to PCP Back Chat, the show after the show. We just talked about the Changeling, had a great conversation. I want to appreciate all of you here on the panel. Fantastic job tonight. Great show. Very pleased with you. But real quick in Back Chat, I want to kick off with thoughts on this because I am perplexed, but at the same time, I kind of get it. But when I first saw the Constantine movie, I was not into it at all because Constantine was not British. He was not smoking all the time. He wasn't blonde. It bothered me. I thought James Marsters from Buffy should have been really good. So at the time when I watched the film, I didn't respond to it very well, and I haven't seen it since. But it has garnered a cult following, and out of nowhere, they're doing a Constantine 2 with Keanu Reeves, and it blows my fucking mind, and I don't quite understand the decision behind it. But I want to know what y'all think. Dylan, what do you think?
You know why? Because they're fucking redoing everything or giving everything he did a sequel. I don't know why.
I hope we get a Knock Knock sequel.
I mean,
Speed 4.
I mean, John Wick, man, is awesome. Bill and Ted, that was really swinging for the fences, and I didn't hate it. It was good, but you know, he just looked weird, man. Especially because I'm so used to seeing him with
because he
the beard.
shaved, man. Yeah,
I know, but he's still just his face looked like really red, and you could tell
he's old,
that the beard makes him look younger, man.
That's why the older we get, we all grow beards. That's literally
so.
happened to me and all my friends.
I guess
we
that's
get older, we grow beards.
I'm the youngest on the podcast on the stream, even though Perry's my age.
Hey, I'm 29. I'm still in my 20s.
Oh, you're 20. I'm 28. I'm about to be 28.
I'm in my fucking 40s. Fuck y'all, man.
Yeah, well, I thought you were like 32.
Who, me?
Yeah, like
you could easily pass.
Honestly, I would have thought you were my age, to be honest. Like I would,
dude. I think I'm a youthful personality, so I don't think I don't even have that much gray.
I think you look youthful too, so it's a good thing, bro.
I think so too, man.
I've looked the same since like 18, bro. Like besides my tattoos, same thing.
I look better every year. I swear to God. Like I'm aging like a fine wine, right?
Hey man, they missed out. They should have had you be doing these John Wick movies. I mean,
I don't know.
Better than Keanu.
I don't know if I could do better than Keanu and John Wick, man.
Dude, he wasn't John Wick until he did the training. You know what I mean? He has millions of dollars.
He did training for fucking Matrix. He learned Kung Fu in the fucking 90s, man. He already had his way in.
He learned a bunch of tactical shit for John Wick.
But here's one thing in hindsight.
He takes that shit serious.
When the Constantine movie came out, I was so mad that he wasn't going to be British.
I bet.
However, I have seen Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula film. And thank God they didn't try to get Keanu to do a British accent, because that's the one thing he cannot. He can learn all these martial arts. He can do the Wire stuff. He can be Neo. He can be Johnny Mnemonic. He can do drama. He can do all the shit. He cannot do a British accent.
So you've never.
He cannot sound. He cannot sound not. He cannot not sound Californian, like in any role that he's in, even when he's doing a British fucking accent. Like, whoa, Mina. Oh, I can't.
We need to slay Dracula. We gotta get Dracula while he's in his coffin.
He's killing me, Nina.
Well, I would have rather have had, and somebody mentioned this on Rockin' Robbie Live last night, is like, what if, and I know that we don't have the Sways with us anymore, but what if instead of with Constantine 2, we got a Point Break 2, Catherine Bigelow comes back to direct, and Keanu reprises that role, and maybe we can bring Lori Petty in and see what's going on in that world. That would be fun, right?
Right. Do you know what I mean? Kind of. I don't know. I just don't understand. I guess.
Do you like the Constantine movie?
It's not bad. It's enjoyable, I guess, but I don't love it. It could be. I think it could be better. It's a good movie for like his young Matrix days because I absolutely love the Matrix. The second one's good, but the third one I'm not that crazy about. So like, Constantine one's one that I would check out here and there as a kid, but
it's one I think I'm thinking about revisiting. Just because I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it makes me want to revisit it again. I'm sure it's on HBO Max or something, but I don't know. I don't think they needed a sequel. Yeah, it's probably like it's okay. Honestly, I don't know if it's that.
I can't believe it. Scarpad's opinionated about something. That's weird.
No, man, never. Not Scarpad.
Yo, JB.
What about your thoughts, Perry, about Constantine coming back for a sequel?
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen the first one, so.
Oh, okay. What about you, Brooks? What do you think?
I thought the Constantine movie was all right. I mean, it had some parts that I liked, but overall, I thought it was pretty meh. I like the Tilda Swinton Angel character, but I think she died in that movie. So
Gavin Rosdale's in that fucking movie too.
Oh yeah, he was
from Bush. Yeah, with his sexy ass. Let me tell you, man.
Really,
it is very odd though for them to decide to make a sequel like all these years later of that movie.
It just boggles my fucking mind.
Yeah, but they did it with the Matrix, Bill and Ted. They're like, we might as well just do it for this.
It's like we could just revive any franchise.
Dude, if
Amazing Spider-Man's coming up next.
They would have done a Point Break 2 already.
Well, then can we get a Johnny Mnemonic 2, please? Because I really feel like they could nail that concept now.
Well, yeah, I mean, they did with Blade Runner too. They had like a Blade Runner.
They're doing a Blade Runner series. Amazon's committed to it. Blade Runner 2099, and I'm like, Jeff Bezos, you better watch out. Disney's going to come for you. I think they copyrighted that whole fucking year already. Get it? Marvel 2099, Spider-Man 2099, X-Men. Yeah. Nope. That joke. I thought that joke would kill, man. Hey, Mike, what do you think about the Constantine and the news of the sequel?
I dug it. I really enjoyed the movie, and there was a lot of putting cigarettes out in the movie, not actually smoking.
Yeah, so at least they tried that with that,
right? And they kind of hit like they had Chaz, they had Midnight, they had Lucifer, and they had John. Like all they were really missing was vampires.
Their Lucifer is really good. Oh, they did the whole bit too with they did the Garth Ennis story.
Yeah,
right.
Except they just leave out the character that was dying of liver cancer, the one that John goes to for help. But like they said, he just makes the deal with Lucifer. He doesn't do the 1 of 2, 2 of 2, and 3 of 3. They leave the other two gods out, or the two other sides of the devil out. But yeah, I thought he just did a real good job. They kind of changed a little bit. They changed Bam-Bam a little bit from what he was in the book. And then it was cool because in the Hellblazer TV show, they brought Mammon back. And I thought that was cool to introduce him in that first episode. So like I said, I was all around, like as a Hellblazer fan, like that was like it hit all the boxes. Like I didn't care that like Constantine.
And Mike is one of the biggest Constantine Hellblazer fans I personally.
And you like the Keanu Reeves?
Yeah, because it's like I like the Keanu. Like it's like Keanu Reeves is playing John Constantine, and it's just like okay, dark hair, dark trench coat. Like they still. It's like he didn't have the blonde hair. He doesn't look like Sting. Like okay, but he still has. John is an asshole. Keanu plays John like an asshole. Like it's just kind of like it's not my problem. It's not my problem. He does a great job. Like,
Isn't there a bit in an elevator where he's like a super smart ass to somebody? I think I vaguely remember.
I think he's a smart ass to Isabel, Rachel Dodd's character or Rachel Welch's character. Like,
and also. Isn't Lucifer in this movie played by the dude from Fargo and 8mm?
Yes.
Like that Russian dude? Yeah. He's
Yes.
pretty good at it. I remember
He does
that.
a great job because he's just like as soon as he sees, it's like as soon as he's like, wait a minute, like no, like oh man, that ending is so good. Like they even do the only thing that I thought was a little ridiculous, but it was still in a way it's very fun. Is it's not very John Constantine to use a shotgun, but I thought that like that was a little out there for Hellblazer, but like it was still
The
really
cross
cool.
shotgun.
Yeah, I thought that was
Oh
great.
yeah, that was.
It's you got it. They
do you
always
like
do
the
this with
show?
Constantine, like in the show, which I thought was okay, but even in the show, they kind of simplify him. They're like, oh, he's an exorcist. Like there's more to
Well,
it than that. He's
Yeah,
there's
definitely,
way
yeah.
more to it. Like there's subtlety, and like he is a magician, right? But he's like
Well,
a chaos magician. It's
Yeah.
like it's an Alan Moore, like Peter Carroll, Phil Hine kind of 80s, 70s chaos magician kind of vibe going there. And
well, that was the
and
that was the
that's
cool
more
thing.
than just Harry Potter, is what I'm trying to say, right? Like
Well, that like, but like in with the in the movie, he has the sigils right here on his arm. So when he does that he uses he uses a lot of the sigils and the markings in the show, and so it's like
hey, Mike, I'm going to ask you a question real quick. This is going to be very important to anybody watching that cares.
Okay,
If someone wants to get into Hellblazer, what's the run they get into?
the Garth Ennis start the
Garth Ennis, Steve Dillon, right?
yeah, that's the I really like because I'm a Kent Williams fan. I really like the Family Man story, and I heard at one point in time that they're trying to bring. Oh no, it's in. What's that show that's on Netflix right now? The other book, Neil Gaiman.
Sandman?
Sandman?
It's
The
Sandman.
other book from Hellblazer?
No, they talk about in the Family Man serial killer is supposed to come to that conference and talk.
Yeah.
But John Constantine kills him. Spoilers.
Yeah, that's why they needed the Corinthian, because he was the guest of honor.
Yeah, because John killed the Family Man, and like I really like I love
it's
that.
all connected.
I like that story. I'm trying to remember. It is the one about it's not Rake at the Gates of Hell. It's not Damnation's Flame. Oh, which one is that? Those are like the 2 and 3, and I cannot remember that one to save my life right now.
What, the big one?
Yeah, it's essentially it's the whatchamacallit.
The first
one
one
about the lung cancer.
The lung cancer one. I know what you're talking about. I can't remember the fucking
Dangerous
name of it either.
Dangerous Habits.
Dangerous Habits. Jesus.
So it's like Dangerous Habits.
That was like the biggest I think that's probably the best-selling Hellblazer graphic novel.
Right, because it's great, and then like Bloodlines is after that. Rake at the Gates of Hell, and then Enemy Lines.
There's a really good trade paperback collection all the way up through Mike Carey stuff right now for Hellblazer, so you can find
Mike Carey. Like Mike Carey, ooh, that takes it in a different
You know what runs I really like, Mike? You're right. The Garth Ennis stuff is where everybody should get into. A lot of people want to start at book 1. It's a slow start for Hellblazer. With the Jamie Delano stuff.
That stuff is really good, but you really want to get into read the Garth Ennis.
Then the Garth Ennis stuff's going to get you in, but I was going to say one of my favorites is the Brian Azzarello. It was a big controversy at the time because Brian Azzarello was the first and maybe
American.
The only to this point, non-British writer or non-UK writer for Constantine, for Hellblazer. He was the first American to write it, and he brought Constantine to America, and it blew people's fucking lids off. But I'll tell you what, Richard Corbin comes in and does that first book, Hard Times, where Constantine's in an American prison, and that shit's so good. And then is it Frusen who comes in? But I love the Brian Azzarello run, and the Paul Jenkins run is severely. The Paul Jenkins run is severely underappreciated, and Warren Ellis had a brief stint that was really, really good, including the issue called Shoot that was pulled because of 9/11 that they eventually released years later.
I was going to say the Azzarello did Freeze Over right after Hard Time. and then High Water. And that's where John versus the bunch of
the white supremacist, man.
white supremacist ones. And then then the covers alone, in the early stuff, it's a lot of it's done by Kent Williams. And the interior is done by Kent Williams, and I love his stuff. A lot of people are familiar with him and the Havoc Wolverine Meltdown 4-issue miniseries. But I love his artwork. So once I said I read Garth Ennis and then Esarello, then I went back and started at book 1 and then worked my way up. And then when you get to Mike Carey stuff, like, oh, it's the later stuff towards the end, it's okay. Because he's getting they're aging him, they're putting and he's getting married, and it's okay, but it's
and Simon Spurrier's recent run was okay, but it wasn't quite like where that character could be. And anything where he's plugged into the DC universe, it's okay, but it's like a PG-13 Constantine, and that's not how you need to be.
When Hellblazer ended, like that book has just been garbage.
Until the Simon Spurrier Aaron Campbell run, because it was the Sandman Universe branded.
Yes, that's the one. That's the one that like skip everything else after that. Like I tried to get into that.
There was the New 52 series, and even his appearances in Justice League Dark. It's not that. But there are 2 Constantines now, because initially Sandman, Constantine, all those pre-Vertigo books that eventually became Vertigo, those were all in DC continuity. They have since been kind of spliced off. Like the Vertigo ones like exist in their own realm called the Sandman universe, but they still exist in the DC universe, but in softer versions, if that makes sense. But anyway.
And one more thing to jump on the Mike Carey thing again. If you're deciding to I want to collect all these and read it issue to issue, Mike Carey stuff is great, but it is thick, and reading it collected in a trade is so much easier, because it's like you're reading from issue to issue. When it was coming out, it's like, what the hell did I just miss? It's like every time an issue would come out, I have to go back and read 2 more issues, because it was just like, ooh, but it was so good.
Yeah, a bit so dense. He was also doing Lucifer. He was also doing Lucifer at the time. All right, let's get into this. Dylan, have you watched The Monsters yet?
Yeah, I did.
What'd you think? Just curious to know your thoughts. We're talking the Rob Zombie's Monsters, right?
Yeah. I didn't hate it. I really liked the set designs. Thought the sets were fucking awesome. The practical effects were really good. You could tell Rob Zombie has a passion and true love for the Monsters. I just really am pissed that they didn't let him do it in black and white, because I can tell that that's exactly why the sets look so colorful and shit, because he thought it was going to be in black and white. It just, man, if I get they had to do a color version, but I think it would hit a little bit better if it was in black and white, especially for people that are fans of it. You know what I mean? And let's be honest, most people that are going to watch it are fans. There are fans of him that are going to watch it just because they're fans of him. I'm kind of more in that line, because I grew up with my mom loving the Monsters, and I would watch them here and there, but it was just never something I was so big into. But I think, what is it, Daniel Warren or something? I think he does pretty good. He's the best Herman since Fred Gwynn, without a doubt.
You think he's better than Jerry O'Connell? Come on, man.
Yeah. And, his wife is really just trying to mimic what the OG did. The father is the best. He is the best out of all the actors, without a doubt. But I also do like, what's his name? Richard, whatever, Brake or whatever, he plays 2 characters, Count Orlok, which he looks great. He could be a Nosferatu without a doubt.
You talking about Willem Dafoe?
No, man.
What are you talking about?
Dude, fucking Richard Brake, I think is his name. One of the guys in the Monsters. Wow, what are you talking about?
I don't fucking know. You mentioned Count Orlok.
He plays the guy who creates Frankenstein. Who creates Herman Munster. That's his human.
Okay.
That's him without makeup. he also plays Count Orlok. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about now? He plays the stepbrother in 3 from Hell.
Oh, yes.
He plays 2 characters in this.
Okay, I know who you're talking about now. You're the dude who replaces Spaulding, basically.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
He plays Count Orlok, and then he plays that like the guy who creates Frankenstein.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
So I was saying he would be a good Nosferatu because of how he looks and in the makeup.
I see what you're saying.
Even obviously that's a goofy ass version, but
it sounds like you're disappointed in this film, Dylan.
I'm not a big Herman Munsters fan, but the story doesn't really have much of a story. You know, it's really just, I guess, how Herman Munster was created and how they ended up on Mockingbird Lane, how they got from Transylvania to Mockingbird Lane because Herman Munster, spoiler alert, fucked up and signed over the deed to the count's like old gypsy ex-wife. So it wasn't bad. It wasn't the best.
Okay.
I really wish it was black and white. I think there's some really good shots in it, and I really love the practical effects and like I said, the set designs. I think they would just really look absolutely incredible if it was in all black and white. That's it. But what do you guys think?
Well, I don't think any of us have seen it, but you.
I didn't know it was out already.
It's not out, I don't think, yet.
Is the Munsters or Frankenstein?
Then why the hell why did you ask me?
Because I knew you watched it.
Oh, you knew I
because the DHS crew got the early look, and I know I haven't watched it yet. I was just curious what you thought.
Yeah, I never planned to love it though. I didn't, like, especially with the trailer. it's a fun, goofy time, I'd say. That's
okay.
It's supposed to be releasing on September 27th on
It's just
Netflix.
gonna be goofy as fuck. But it's crazy because, dude, he must have put that shit together so quick. Because I was watching him on Instagram, and he kept posting about it every day, unless those are like pics of it like long after. But he kept saying like, "Oh, we're doing this now. We're doing this. We're doing that." And how quick it came out. Dude, they must have put that in post-production. Like, it must have been doing post like as they were filming. Like, he's giving them dailies, and they're just doing post like at night or something. Like, it was crazy. But obviously, I feel like this wasn't it. Dude, I bet you he filmed this in like 2 weeks, bro. I just have a feeling 3 weeks at most. I know Rob Zombie too, man. They don't give these guys long. Like, they don't get 30 days like that. Like Adam Green, you know what I mean? He's like, you got 45 days. He's like, dude, I had to film Hatchet 3 and 2 in like a week and a half, you know, or 2 weeks, like just crazy shit, you know. So
yeah,
I'd be interested to see. But how much money did it get put on it? Someone was saying that it got a decent amount of money put on it. I don't really believe that. And if they did, it went all to practical effects and the set designs.
See if I can find the budget for the film.
Because what now? Because the Universal put it out.
No information released yet. We'll see.
Netflix has picked it up, and they also got the Addams Family, the Wednesday show coming. We'll see. Tim Burton too. That's like Tim Burton returning to film, I feel like.
Yeah, I don't know, but Tim Burton, I mean,
he hasn't done.
I think Tim Burton fell off at a certain point. I think like
did. He did.
I think Big Fish might be his last good movie, and I think that's one of his best.
That Peculiar Children movie was weird, but
what do you think, Perry? Do you got any thoughts on Tim Burton films?
He made Edward Scissorhands, right?
Yeah,
he did the first 2 Batman movies.
That shit was awesome, dude.
Yeah, there was a moment where every movie he did was a banger.
Yo, Jack Skeleton, that's Tim Burton.
Nightmare.
Yeah,
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yep,
Awesome
he created that. Yeah,
he's dope.
He did those first 2 Batman movies, like Dylan said. He did Sleepy Hollow. A lot of people like that movie. It's okay.
I love Sleepy Hollow.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, he did. He didn't do what? He did Sweeney Todd. I fucking love Sweeney Todd. I'll tell you fucking that. I love Sweeney Todd. Oh, dude, I love. I gotta let you borrow the Blu-ray, man. It's really good. I love it. He did. Corpse Bride. He did. Pee-wee's Big Adventure, right? Beetlejuice, right? Good movies.
Heck yeah. Dude, what happened? I thought they were going to do a Beetlejuice 2, and then didn't they say somebody was going to play Beetlejuice that wasn't Michael Keaton?
Well, I think what happened was that Michael Keaton was set to do it, and then it didn't quite work out, so he was devastated, so he wound up moving to Seattle, and he rented out this old-ass mansion. And then there was this fucking batarang that kept falling down the stairs. And he went and he threw it over the bridge, and then it showed back up over this. Anybody get what I was doing there?
Yeah. It's good. It's good.
Brooks, what's your favorite Tim Burton film?
Oh man, he had some really good ones back then. I'd probably have to say The Nightmare Before Christmas, though.
Well, he didn't technically direct that film. That's a Tom Selleck film, but not Tom Selleck, Tom Selleck or whatever. It's a different.
Oh, he didn't.
Jack Skellington has such a lustrous mustache.
He produced it and he co-wrote it, but he designed all the it's all from his mind. But he didn't actually direct it.
It's just a Tim Burton movie, but Tim Burton did kind of fall off after a while. But I think he could still make good movies, but it's kind of the glamour has kind of worn off, I think.
Yeah.
The last movie I remember the latest movie I've seen of his was the Dumbo remake.
Oh.
And it was your typical Disney remake, soulless.
I hated that movie. It was so boring, man.
Yeah,
that was the last movie. So it's
how do you make a movie about a
5
circus
years,
so
maybe?
Fucking dull.
Me and Brooks went and watched that by ours. It was just me and Brooks. Jelani was like, I'm not going to go watch Dumbo. And so me and Brooks went there and we're watching Dumbo. And there's nobody else in the theater. It's just me and Brooks watching fucking Dumbo on a Thursday night. It was so weird, man. Good time, though. Good times.
Yeah.
Mike, you got a favorite Tim Burton film?
Yeah, my favorite Tim Burton film is Mars Attacks.
No, that's a good one. He also did Ed Wood. That's a good one from that era.
Yeah.
Mars Attacks
I thought he did. It's good. It's just that's a good fun movie if you haven't seen it.
My favorite might be it's probably either Beetlejuice or Batman Returns. Because I really love both of those movies.
But anybody talk about Big Fish?
But that's what I was saying. I was saying I think Big Fish might be one of his best films because it's very un-Tim Burton, but it's still weird. You know what I'm saying? Big Fish is really good. It's to me, it's Big Fish, Batman Returns, Beetlejuice, Edward Scissorhands. The movies that are a little bit more whimsical, and not just, but I also do love Sweeney Todd. He really cuts down the music in it, but it's still a musical and it's still very well performed. And I do have
I'd say that Edward Scissorhands is his favorite Tim Burton. That's surprising.
Well, before that, he said Frankenweenie.
I gotta know your favorite because if it's Edward Scissorhands, I will.
Did he do Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
The
awesome,
remake
dude.
with Johnny Depp.
And he did the Alice in Wonderland remake.
That was cool too. I like that one too.
Dude,
how stoned were you, Perry?
He has.
Yeah, they're great movies, dude.
His look of everything is visually stunning. That's one thing. Maybe his story or his stories might get a little wacky, but just he is visually
his world
always able to captivate you with some.
You know what Tim Burton movie fucking sucks, in my opinion?
You didn't even ask me my favorite one.
Well, okay, what's your favorite, Dylan?
Did you ask Mike yet?
Yeah.
What did Mike say? I don't think he did. Skipping me and Mike.
I said Mars Attacks, dog.
Yeah, he said Mars Attacks, man.
I definitely shit, bro. Maybe Sleepy Hollow.
Sarah Jessica Parker's head on a dog's body.
Sleepy Hollow?
Funny.
Maybe.
You know what I think his worst one is?
So underrated too.
His worst one is Planet of the Apes.
If not, it would be. Oh, that probably is. No, I feel like people would say The Peculiar Children.
With Mark Wahlberg?
I would say Batman Returns, but that's too easy. So it would be,
You like Batman Returns better than the Batman?
Yeah.
I feel the same way, man.
That one is. I love the vibe, the Christmas vibe. That one.
We're doing Batman Returns for Christmas PCP movie night, by the way.
Sweet. I'll definitely be there.
Do you
I'm trying
mean
to
that,
debate 'cause
Dylan?
for Christmas. I'm trying to debate. I'm doing 2 shows for sure, maybe 3. What did you say though?
Well, if you want to be on it, you have a spot. But I hope so. We're doing 2 for Christmas.
Oh, you're saying you might have had I might not have been able to because you were filled up. My bad.
I haven't even sent out the list yet.
Just inviting myself.
Oh, dude, I would love to have you on, man. Anyway, I'd love to have you on. All right.
The
Planet of the Apes sucks. What, Mike? Do you like?
I saw that at the drive-in, bro, when I was little.
That movie pissed me.
That was my first time seeing that. Was at the drive-in. I didn't mind it, but it definitely is.
I was so pumped for that, man. But then,
I liked it as a kid. I loved Planet of the Apes.
I think Planet of the Apes was kind of the beginning of the decline in a way.
I think you're right on the money on that, Brooks.
Yeah. Mike, do you like Planet of the Apes with Mark Wahlberg?
It's interesting. The little twist, like I kind of like that. I like the little twist at the end. So like it's fine. Like the Monkey Helen Bohemian Carter, whatever, you know. So, I mean, it is what it is. So, I mean,
I don't know if Scarpad's trolling, but he says that's his favorite. That's fucked up, man.
I was like, what about Dark Shadows? Wasn't that one kind of just meh?
That was a vampire one, right?
Yeah,
that was pretty cool. It's on Netflix.
So I just know a lot of people didn't like that one because it wasn't being true to like the original Dark Shadows TV show.
Well, because he didn't make a fucking 20-year soap opera. Like what's he supposed to do? He's got 90 minutes. Like, what's he supposed to do? He's got like.
Well, he just made everything a little bit more overly jokey, is what I heard. Like it could.
That's what the trailer. That's the vibe I got from the trailer. Like Johnny Depp played what's his name, the main dude, right?
Barnabas.
That's
Barnabas
right.
Collins. My mom was a Dark Shadows fan.
Okay, there you go. I remember when they first came out with those giant ass DVD sets, and I remember having the first one and plodding through it and liking it, but then I never went further than that. So. Figure Drawing's got some opinions. Says Dark Shadows was super clunky, ultra meh. So there you go. All right, y'all, we're about to wrap this up. We're going to get into show and tell zone here. So, we're spinning the wheel. Ba-bum, ba-bum, ba-bum. Ba-bum, ba-bum, ba-bum. Brooks, you're starting us off. What you got for show and tell?
A couple of books. I picked this up a little while back. It's the 5th volume of The Fist of the Man Who Makes People's Heads Explode.
Is that Rob Liefeld?
No, it's a... I can't remember I think it's Burnson is the one who does the art for him, but yeah, the cover is deceptive because the character's shoe doesn't appear until like probably another couple of volumes. They should have put Rao on there. It's fucked up, dude. I don't like it. I also picked this up a little while back. It's the special edition. It's got the open up like my favorite image, which is the one with right here where he's holding the sword over his head.
Nice. I'm meeting James O'Barr this weekend, brother.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like this book is so like overwrought, but it's great. Like I would definitely recommend. If you ever read the Crow, do it. I picked this up a while back too. This is a.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it's like a Bruce Lee's like superposable. He's got like all these points of articulation. He came with like all these weapons and extra hands and shit.
Oh, sweet.
Like I haven't even like really dove into the extra hands and weapons yet, but I'm working on it. Last, I also got this a while back. It's a Dr. Green Thumb Funko Pop.
Nice.
Like for anybody who knows what that reference is. Yeah, he's holding a little Seymour plant. He's got his reanimator fluid injection thing there.
Hello, my name is Dr. Green Thumb. I
I'd like
just
to tell you
showed you just where I'm from.
Yeah, that's
I can't believe that they did Funko Pops.
yeah. It's weird because they haven't done like a regular Cypress Hill yet. So they did that one first.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I like it.
Like,
It's
oh
cool.
my God.
Nice. Very nice show and tell, Brooks. Next up is going to be the dog Dylan. What's up?
Oh, shoot, man.
You SOB, what you got, man?
I know. Offhand, really, I don't know. I'd have to look. I got Scarpad said he got sent 2 copies of this, so he sent one my way. So I'm really happy because I do love this character. The Jack Kirby run Commandy, the last boy on Earth, the first
Nice.
20 issues. So, man, dude, I'm hyped for that. Little Jack Kirby goodness.
The Jack Kirby thing I've never read. I need to read one of these.
I've never read this run either. I know I read like a issue or here and there maybe like when I was little. I've always liked this character though. I always thought he was cool. So
Yeah, Brooks, that trade just came out, man. I'll throw one your way, man. When we get it back in.
Hell yeah. And dude, so damn pissed. Let me see what else. Speaking of Tim Burton, I think what is this movie? I think this was a Todd McFarlane movie Maniac.
Yeah, movie Maniacs, man.
If hold on, give me 1 second. Hold on.
This is riveting entertainment that Dylan has brought to us
Yeah,
tonight.
bro. It freaking comes with I just had him put away the it's weird though. So I love like the 2 decapitated heads and pretty good detail too, man. Like, because these are the actual people that like they did a likeness like the people that get decapitated in the movie, which I love even more. It's not like it's just some random mold. But it comes with like a little Christopher Walken head.
Nice.
But the way, because like he's got, like you can actually see, like, you know what I mean? There's nothing really to put this on. It kind of just like
just has to lay
it's
there.
Not really, yeah. It kind of just has to rest, and it really just ends up falling. You probably would have to glue it.
Get some sticky tack or something, man.
I wouldn't. I don't think I like. It's a good. The sculpt looks better in person than it does in this, but it's still not the best, and it's like old. I really just always display it like this. I like it better like that, but it also comes with the skull too. So you got it 2 different ways. But yeah, man, it's really just like a stump, bro. So it's really just like you gotta stick it on and just hope for the best. The skull actually looks kind of cooler than the Christopher Walken.
It does. It looks like he's got a tiny head though, like Beetlejuice at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp, why are you dressed like Ichabod Crane?
See, though, he don't stay on too good.
Because he is Ichabod Crane, you idiot.
But yeah, man, I love this one.
That's cool,
one.
man.
I got it real cheap. It's a little beat up and worn down, but dude, it's a cool one, man. Not many people have that sucker, I don't think.
That's dope, man.
Yeah, I think that's probably it, man.
Nice. Next up, our main man Perry. What you got?
So these just came in the mail a couple days ago. I got this Mortal Kombat Deception, which I've been having a blast. This shit's awesome. And then I can't wait to try this Mortal Kombat Armageddon. It's got like a little shiny cover to it, but
that's beautiful.
Collector's item.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I got. Dude.
Very nice. Next up, me. So there's my Changeling. Look at that, like foil slip.
Shit, shiny as fuck, dude.
Black case with the CD soundtrack. So that's super cool. My other George C. Scott movies I have are all the horror or horror adjacent ones that he did, like Firestarter. He's the best part of this movie outside of like Drew Barrymore's performance. He's really good. But Exorcist 3, y'all.
You made a third one?
Dude, this is the greatest psychological thriller of the 90s. George C. Scott is amazing in this film, man. Amazing. All right, next up, I had some some cool gifts from Mike. So last year, General Mills did this like toys and cereal boxes again, and they did the mascots and Halloween costumes. Now they're doing them as the 90s. So there's Sonny. Looks like he's like Urkel or something.
And I knew that.
And then there's the cinnamon toast
Oh,
crunch
that's
thing,
cool.
and it looks like a hard drive disc or whatever, right? Hard disk, yeah. Mike also hooked me up with this Ash figure. Look at that,
Whoa.
straight from the 90s, my man. Super cool. Also, got this Magic Johnson 1991 All-Star Game pop. So that's dope. Also, I guess we're doing this bullshit again.
Ooh.
Oh, no, you're not. You're
even-
going to die.
It damn near killed me last time, but
last time
we're
Mike
gonna
could do it, but you
we're
can't.
gonna redeem ourselves this time.
We'll
So there's
see.
that, and I told y'all that I got some cool vehicles for Motu a while ago, and last week I showed off my Spydor. So now we're gonna spotlight the Dragon Walker that I just got not too long ago. Look at that, y'all. From Masters of the Universe. Mike, we don't know if this works yet, right? But we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I need to clean it and repair it.
But look how cool that is, y'all.
Heck yeah.
Getting closer and closer to completion on that Motu collection. Also, Mike hooked me up with this.
Oh, no.
The pumpkin just fell.
Pumpkin.
But this Elvira
Oh.
Funko Mystery Mini.
Heck yeah.
And so she can get it like usual. So
Heck
we're going to
yeah.
wrap up show and tell with Mike the Voice Matthews.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I don't have a lot to show off because, as you can see, everything's kind of bare. So I'm doing another strip down for more camera gear. But I actually have been buying a lot more other things. So I picked up this old early 80s, like 83 Minolta at an estate sale where I found Robbie's Dragon Walker. So he got the Dragon Walker and I got the Minolta. It came with another lens, a really nice bag, a really nice custom case for this. It shoots great. I just burned a roll of film this past weekend doing a little street photography in Nashville. So that it will be made soon. Sticking with music and photography. Oh, shit. This book's heavy. I mean, it's thick. I mean, but it's Bring the Music Home. It was done during the pandemic. It talks about all the different music venues across the United States. Like you can see, like it's like if Baltimore, it tells you where to go. So, and this was really cool. I picked this up in between tours, just because it gave me this nice little thing to look at. So it's just kind of like when I was in New York, like I've always wanted to go to Webster Hall. That was kind of like I've never seen the inside of it, and I really couldn't find like good photos of it online. And this had an amazing photo of Webster Hall in like interior with nobody inside, and it's just a real pretty theater. So yeah, but it's really thick. It's really heavy. If you're into music, it's a nice little pickup for music or book collection. It goes great with vinyl. And this is the cool thing too. That's got on the top of the book. It's got all the cities.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's cool.
That was listed. So
that's a nice touch, man.
I thought it was like a library stamp.
Yeah, I thought it was too, but no, it's everything else.
Like you stole that from a fucking public library, you piece of shit.
Then me and Robbie saw this while we were doing an order one day, and I was like, "Yeah, order me that." And it is.
I intentionally found you and said, "Hey, man, you need to get this."
Yeah,
is what happened.
I don't. All I know is that this thing is dope as hell. Like it's got the great.
What's her name? There's like the photographer that like was there when they did Halloween and the fog and Escape from New York.
That is the name.
There we go.
Kim Walker.
Gottlieb Walker.
So,
okay.
But yeah, I mean it's just a bunch of the photo stills of like behind the scenes work of just. I've got to shoot like behind the scenes stuff for like music videos and making the music videos. But like this is next level because it's
There's that cool shot where you see James Cameron like working on the models for Escape from New York. That looks super cool, man.
Yeah, that was. I'm trying to get to that. There's you just did the Elvis Presley movie, and then that's in here.
Oh, nice.
Also,
that movie's really good, y'all.
Really?
Like there's
yeah, man. His Elvis,
yes,
dude. Like Carpenter's just like.
Like there's Kurt Russell. Or there he is. Like that's how he showed up to set as like a cowboy. Like that was his.
Nice.
Like he wasn't dressing up. Like that's what he liked to wear. So, but it's a great. Like I said,
he's like
it's a
Jeff
wonderful-
Goldblum in fucking Buckaroo Banzai. He's just like, this is what he wears, man.
I'm here.
Nice
Yeah, there it
spurs.
is.
What is he
There
making
it
fun
is.
of me? Yeah, James Cameron working on the mats and shit and the models. Look at that.
That's dope.
Yeah, it's just
It's a really cool book, man, because that's like Carpenter's like. That's like prime Carpenter, and he even gets better. So
there he is, painting.
Yeah,
and it's just one of those like it's kind of like, oh wow, that blew my mind because like,
it's James Cameron.
It's
That's James Cameron pre-Aliens and pre-Terminator, fucking painting mats for fucking Escape from New York. That's dope.
And it's a lost, and it's almost a lost. Like that's a whole lost art now because
show that cover so everybody can get a look at it again and what title it is exactly.
This is the cover. I took the slip off, but it's just nice. Jamie Lee
on set with John Carpenter. There you go.
And I got it. It's the back of the book says it's $29.95 US, $39.95 Canada. So, but I'm sure you could probably find it cheaper, or you could probably ask at your local bookstore. You could probably order it through your comic shop. So, but yeah, this thing, like it's dope. Like there's the custom hat that you got.
Harry Dean Stanton on set of Escape, right? Wearing his fucking alien. Yeah, it's cool. So
it was just one of those like, man, I kind of want to go back and watch to see if he ever wore it in the film.
I just watched that film. He doesn't.
Okay.
He doesn't at all. But yeah, I just watched it the other day. I still have it next to me.
Nice.
So yeah, it goes, and then it just does the Fog, Escape from LA, Halloween 2.
Halloween 3.
Christine's in stuff. Christine is in here, so
sick.
Like you can. So it's just
it's dope, man.
And it's made me want to find other books like these, and I haven't found many, but I want to find more. So, but I don't know. I've been looking in.
Cool.
Hell yeah, man! Good show and tell, everybody.
Been looking at bookstores for older stuff too.
Hell yeah!
I forgot this downstairs, Robbie, but I finally got X on Blu-ray as well.
Nice.
So definitely had to show that just because Pearl is out.
I know. I still haven't seen it yet. I got to get to the theater, but I'm busy this weekend
tomorrow,
too.
Man.
I'm busy. I'm too busy, man. Tuesday. I'm busy this weekend.
Did you know they got Pearl at a drive-in down here?
Oh, that's cool. I've never been to a drive-in.
It's an hour away from here. But they got Pearl.
There's a theater 5 minutes from me that's playing it. But anyway.
Yeah, but it's something about going to a drive-in.
Dude, they're fucking awesome.
All right. Well, we appreciate everybody being here tonight. Do join us next week for Get Out on Horrorfest. But before that, join us Saturday night over at Dylan's Horror Show for us. I'll be live streaming from my Memphis hotel because I'll be at the Memphis Comic Expo this weekend. So if you're there, be sure to say what's up. There's the lineup. Y'all, shit ain't even started yet. We're dipping out. Thank you all for being here. Stay scared. Keep getting thrilled. Horrorfest is just beginning.